Okay, so this is the European Games 2023 Senior Men's Foil Match. It's in Krakow, so the announcer's speaking Polish.
Rywalizacja w męskim florecie drużynowo. Za chwileczkę poznamy 8 finalistów i oczywiście naszych wyśmienitych sędziów.
And it will be France versus Italy. Always an iconic matchup.
Panie i panowie, wielki finał w męskim florecie stoczą Filippo Macchi, Tommaso Marini,
Maki got second place at the Paris Olympics.
czyli reprezentacja
I mean, honestly, it's impossible to say all of their achievements. Maybe not impossible, but they are all very, very good. Okay, Marini is a world champion. Falcone is a world champion. Garozzo is an Olympic champion. That's a good way to do it. And on the French side, Lafort is a world champion. Poti is a St. Petersburg World Cup winner, and he's medaled at other World Cups, and he may have also won other World Cups. And Savin is, I mean, very good. Yeah, before the team bouts start, they do like a little team chant. Get everybody sort of hyped up. I don't know what they say. That would honestly interest me. Maybe if you're a French fencer and you know what they're saying, put it in the comments. Also, I wonder what the Italian says in that moment. The reason I ask is because, in my experience, it's always this, or basically always the same thing that they say. But I don't have very much experience at all, especially fencing teams. On the international level, because unfortunately, not every country sends teams, and Portugal doesn't send a team to a lot of these competitions. Okay, so this is a fight for the middle, right off the line, and Poti chose compound attack, and Garozzo chose direct attack, and that's why Garozzo gets the touch. So that's a bit of a counter time from Garozzo. He's baiting Poti. He's baiting Poti. Poti goes for the attack in preparation, and Garozzo finishes, knowing that the referee will view his preparation as part of his attack. That's what makes it a counter time. So that was a very compounded attack from Poti, and he was just waiting to find an opening to finish his touch. But Garozzo stepped in with a parry in 4. And stepping in with a parry is basically the same thing as a counterattack, in the sense that it is very effective against the counter time. Sorry, against the compound attack. So basically at any moment you could do a counter attack that you step in. You can do a parry with step in. But then you're going to be immediately in the infighting situation. But you will have the right of way because you will have taken the parry. So you'll enter the infighting situation with the advantage of the right of way. Again, the exact same thing. So Poti is pushing. He sees that Garotso's not going to go for the counterattack. And then he tries a compound attack to find his way in. And in that moment where he accelerates to give emphasis to his feints in order to open Garotso, Garotso steps forward with a parry. And then gets the touch in the infighting. Garotso is very good at infighting. And this time, the exact same action made it through. So maybe he added another disengager or attacked the target in a slightly different way, or just anticipated that Garotso would do this big four, and so already had his tip in a position which could get the light on if Garotso does go into that position. And there's an action in the middle. Fight in the middle, action in the middle. Let's call it action in the middle. I like that better. So they both start forward, and by start I mean suddenly. And then they sort of stutter back for a second, and then they both attack again, very direct. And for me, it looks like basically looks like simultaneous. But the referee went and watched it in slow motion and gave it to Garotso, which generally means that Garotso either started moving. Okay, very nice. Again, he stepped forward with the parry and got the repost. So Garotso's a master at getting the repost in difficult positions. And the interesting thing is Poti, he's doing a compound attack, sort of thinking that he's going to get around the parry at some point. But Garotso keeps stepping forward with the parry, which makes it very, very hard. That was excellent. So he anticipated this infighting. And he managed to parry his back. Because when you're in that infighting situation, basically you threaten the front and hit the back, or you threaten the back and hit the front, or you just sort of threaten until they move, and then you hit the thing that's open. And that's what Garotso's super good at. And Poti, he basically anticipated it and managed to parry that attack, which from extremely close distance. So since they both rush forward, Poti searches. Basically, he thinks that Garotso would have attacked him there, and he was going to do a parry repost in the middle. So in the fight for the middle, he was going to do a parry repost, and Garotso was doing started a compounded. He was going to do a getaway go. It looked like, or that's what he signalized. That's what he did. He basically did a getaway go for whatever reason. He started forward, then he started back, and without moving his blade. And Poti did the same thing, but also searched. And then when they both started forward, either the referee saw that Garotso started forward first, or he decided that because Poti looked for the blade but didn't find anything, he sort of should lose a moment, a tempo basically, and therefore not have the right of way. Or he can say that Garotso stuck his arm out earlier in the moment, within that second. Acceleration towards each other. Okay, that was kind of a beat attack from LaForte. Oh, what? Okay. Well, I misread those blade actions. Okay, let's see. Maki on the attack. Maki likes to do a counter time where he's also beating. So he sort of rushed forward there looking for the blade early, so to try to basically do a beat. And LaForte is he just does like a deep counter attack with basically like a flash. That was very cool. Okay, so that was parry post for Maki. To me, it looked like LaForte was just going straight with his arm. Attack left. Definitely a bit of a compound attack because it's just so fast. So when they're really charging forward like this, these are compound attacks. Oh, nice. Parry post left. Wow, that was insane. That was an absolute destruction. Maki is the silver medalist from Paris, and Lafort is 2019 world champion. That was insane. Nice, very good bout. 5-1. Five touch bouts are tough. But I mean, Maki just did an excellent job there. Just did an excellent job. He just put so much pressure, taking the blade every time, and then and the thing that was really awesome about that too is that he just managed to get touches with his compound attacks, even though Lafort was doing really good counterattacks. Marini, attack left. Marini. So this is 2023. Marini was world champion in 2023. And compound attack. So Marini could, for example, think about doing a counterattack or a step in with parry. But he's pushing. He's pushing instead. He's trying to get some... And he finishes very direct. And Savin manages the parry post. Boom, parry post. Very nice parry post. Wow, Marini really tries to cover his target with his mask. That's insane. I would definitely ask for hand judges if I were Savin. Because he's just so low. I mean, maybe technically it's not covering, but the way he's able to hide behind his leg and his mask makes that target area effectively so small. So again, he's inviting, he's pushing, he's preparing, and he tries to finish off target. Okay, and this preparation, what does that really mean? You know, so that's why I don't know. It's the preparation can have many different functions, okay? But in this specific case, it's very slow and it's very inviting. So it's really an invitation. But if he can get the light on, since he's continuously moving forward, now Savin is doing it, it will be his touch. They're going to give that to Savin. And so that's a counter time with finish. Because Savin is pushing forward, he's inviting, but Marini begins the actual engagement with his attack. And Savin just finishes. But since Savin is continuously moving forward, that counts as an attack. Wow, that was a great combination. So attack right, gets parried by Marini, and then he gets a remise and sort of manages to twist out of the way. Which honestly is a similar action to what Marini was doing. You have to... That was excellent. Again, you have to move your body out of the way. But you can see how Savin's head is upright and his target area is pretty much upright as well. But it's mainly about the head, because it's just doesn't make sense to defend yourself with your head. Parry post right is no. Remise left hits. So there's a lot of remises happening here. So they should both be trying to basically repost more directly, or hold the parry until they have a moment, or do a grazing parry so that they can slowly restart their own attacks. Savin did... See, he starts compound, and then he honestly, it's pretty much a compound action, because you see his arm comes out way after his foot in the lunge, and that does leave him fundamentally open to a counterattack. And so that was definitely a compound attack. And at the very, very end, of course, he tried to finish straight, but that's just because Savin was moving away from him so dramatically. So again, he's that look. The first one, no, and then the hit. It's so interesting how he gives up the right of way. Well, he's afraid of the. That's so interesting. So he's doing a coupe in the middle of his attack, and in a way, he's giving up right of way by doing that, because he fainted so deep that it could have counted as attack no. But it's interesting calculus, because if the opponent parries in that moment, then they don't have your blade because you're in the middle of the coupe, and then you just hit without any issue. And if they do manage to take the blade, well, then you're already in the movement of the remise, giving you the best sort of possible chance of hitting right after the parry, and of not getting hit by the repost, because you're already sort of preparing your evasive maneuvers. Okay, so it's just simultaneous. So this is fight for the middle. They both practically mirror each other. And parry post Maki. Very strong compound attack from Poti. Poti's just not able to get through with his compound attacks at the moment. That was interesting. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. He tried a second intention there. He attacked straight, and then he tried to counter parry. And this was another fight for the middle, and they're giving it to... I actually couldn't hear what he said. Either simultaneous or off target for Poti. And very compound attack by Poti, and that worked super well. Yeah. And attack right. Basically straight attack with flesh. His arm is way out in front of him. It's definitely possible to counterattack that, but parrying that is probably a better idea with like a circle 6. It depends though, because I think Monkey tried to do that, so flesh is difficult. That's a difficult kind of situation. So again, they fight for the middle, and this time they are both sort of doing a compound attack / looking for the blade maybe in the middle there. And I think Maki is saying, I didn't look for the blade, I was only going compound, and Poti, he was looking for the blade, so it should be mine. That's... Even though they were both charging forward identically. But it's understandable, I mean, if you're basically predicted that your opponent is going to do a parry repost, and then you charge forward with a compound action, knowing that, basically with absence of blade, knowing that they're not going to catch your blade, and then that exact thing happens, then it makes sense to me that you think, you want the touch. That was a very good counterattack attempt by Maki. And Poti does very, very well these extremely fast compound attacks where he's also taking the blade. So that's why I also understand the call of the referee before. This is, okay, against these simultaneous attacks are crazy. There's so many of them, and Maki's just having a really hard time getting the point on. What a compound action. Maki and Poti are so aggressive. It's really cool. Nice straight attack by Poti. He thought maybe there was going to be a counterattack, or just confuse him a bit. Maybe, prepare himself for a counter parry repost. Excellent step-in parry repost. Sort of early searching parry. And then... Or maybe he didn't find it, and that's why he reposted like that. But either way, it was a very... yeah, it was a very good repost. Good job getting the point on there. He tried to do a counter time here, but... he didn't catch the blade, or he knew that he didn't catch the blade enough, and then so he ended up doing kind of an evasive movement on the attack. So he basically had the right of way, then lost the right of way, and then just, so he got it's a remise, basically. It's a remise. I guess Maki got the last blade contact there. And beat attack from Poti. He's coming back. Yeah. Wow. Great counterattack. Great counterattack. It's like a flesh opposition in 8. Impressive. Impressive. Poti is extremely good at fleshes, and so even in the counterattack he can do his flesh. Yeah, he tried to charge forward and then do parry riposte in Preem, and Maki tried doing direct. So theoretically, it's a pretty good choice by Poti, but it's very tough to pull off when you're both charging at each other and you're both really, really fast. Because that window of where to parry becomes very small. Yeah, so this is a counter time by Maki. Because Maki is pushing forward. So it's a counter time with finish. Because he's pushing forward and then Poti does his attack in preparation. And then Maki just finishes. And the referee says because Maki didn't stop, it's his attack. Simultaneous actions, 1 light. Simultaneous actions, it's going straight off the line with a direct attack. It's really a gamble, but it's a tool that you kind of need to have because there are situations where you need it. But in this bout, it's leading to really a lot of luck because there have been at least like 3 simultaneous actions, and most of them have been Potis. And the fact that so we're seeing that Poti is getting the first attack almost every time, and that's not because Maki wants it that way. At least not how I see it, at least. And it's because Poti is consistently winning the middle, and he wants to attack. And so Maki knows that if he tries to fight him in the middle, he's not going to get the touch. Yeah. Interesting. No, for me that parry 6 really looks. Yeah, so you can see Poti parries with the strong of his blade, and Maki's tip is really low, is really on the strong of the blade, so this has to be Poti's. Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Because he absolutely dominates the blade in that parry. Yeah. Poti can attack all he wants. And Maki, if Maki tries to attack, he's probably going to lose the middle. He did get one at 1, but all the other ones were for Poti in the middle. Counter time Poti. It's absolutely correct. Counter time Poti. God, look at that. Boom, boom. Perfect. God, the pressure is so high. Like, look how the athletes are exerting pressure on the ref, for example, and the coaches and the teams. It's intense. Wow, amazing. Amazing. He parried without his weapon twice. That was so cool. And it looked like he even pretended to get a touch on Maki with his hand. Nice attempt. Very nice finish by Poti. Excellent bout. That's a great bout for Poti. Difficult for Maki, for sure. But these kinds of things happen all the time. It's awesome. What a run. And Maki was always in the fight. I mean, it was such an intense battle every step of the way.
Ouais. Allez.
Interesting. It looked like that was so there's just a lot of back and forths. I call these actions right of way actions. Yeah, to a certain level, there's a getaway go element, but basically they're both looking for that sort of that tiny hitch of a moment where they can attack and their opponent happens to be stopped or going back. And Garosa tried to parry, and Savin got the compound attack. So they're kind of doing it again.
À l'attaque touche, point. En garde.
For me, it's a tag in preparation right, I suppose. But this is... Who does he give it to? I think he did give it to Savin.
Prêt. Allez.
Or not? I don't know.
Ah, t'attaques touche, point. En garde. Prêt.
Well, I'd love to see these actions again. These are some very close calls. Okay. Compound attack right, no. And then parry post no. And then core core.
Prêt. Allez.
I think they were telling him to keep his distance and not get caught up in the infighting.
Ah, tour final, la défense de gauche, le voilà.
Garosa's going forward with his parry to get into the infighting. And then he hit the arm, and he's saying that Savin had his left arm in front of his target area, which would be a yellow card. And after a yellow card comes a red card, and that's a touch for the other person. Yeah, so Savin did his compound attack again, and Garotso stepped in with parry and got the repost in the infighting. So exactly what he's been trying to get. So yeah, so Savin should definitely stick to basically straight attacks, and and keep in mind that as soon as he lands, he should get back so that he can basically keep distance as well as possible and just do everything that he can to avoid the and not just avoid, but like to basically to hit at the furthest sort of possible distance and in the most direct way.
Les masques. Et on garde.
So if he touches Garotso, he wants to touch Garotso with his arm fully extended, and not in the infighting where he's gonna have to twist and turn and that kind of thing. And where Garotso just simply has the advantage because Garotso is just one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, at least at this time. At this infighting, and you see he's always trying to get into the infighting. Infighting is so important.
Ah, celle-là.
Parry post Garotso again. He's going forward. Savin again is doing some kind of compound action. You can really see how Garotso is pushing Savin back.
On garde, messieurs, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Savin. Savin. Savin.
Allez. À l'attaque par un de la défense touche, point.
I mean,
Les masques tous les deux.
Savin is holding his arm back, That's fine. That's fine. That's allowed. He's holding his arm out of the way. There's lots of target area for him to hit, for Grosso to hit.
On garde. Prêt. Allez.
Yeah, here he's back in his conservative footwork.
Ah, l'attaque touche. Quoi.
This time, he did the compound attack, but he pulled it way shorter. Look, it's just advanced lunge, and his lunge is not super long. And so he managed to hit him basically with his arm extended.
Allez.
3-3. Intense. It's Marini Lafort, the two tallest guys. Maki's pretty big too, though.
On garde souple. Sur la piste. Merci.
And two world champions. Marini, world champion 2023. At this time, he wasn't a world champion yet. I think, no, he was. Because I think he was world champion in 2022 as well. So he's like a two-time world champion, I'm pretty sure.
On garde.
Is that true?
Prêt.
Oh, I hope I haven't said anything.
On garde.
Made a mistake there. Whatever, if I have, my bad. And Lafort is 2019 world champion.
On garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah, l'attaque touche. Quoi.
Excellent
On garde.
direct finish there.
Prêt. Allez.
Or at least simple. At least a simple finish. Definitely parry post would have been the right answer there. I don't see how you could have counterattacked that. It would have been very difficult. Very small moment. There he tried it again. This time Lafort parried, so he applied the right solution. And then he tried it. He got really close and then tried a super compound sort of running attack with switching the feet, basically stepping into the infighting at a very high speed and then trying to get the touch. But Marini managed to parry it and hit off target. Interesting. So Lafort got the blade action, in my opinion, but then he waited a really long time. So basically, he was doing a counter time on the repost, a counter time with finish on the repost, and Marini, but just continued his attack. The referee, it sounded like he gave Marini the attack, so basically signaling that Lafort waited too long, and he also wasn't moving forward. Which, I mean, in my opinion, is absolutely the correct call. I mean, that's the kind of call I want to see. So it also, and there, Marini is moving forward, he's moving forward, he's moving forward. Lafort is kind of waiting, and then a direct attack from Marini.
Messieurs. Messieurs. On garde.
Somebody was getting in trouble.
Allez.
So again, he tried that same sort of running into the infighting, but this time they passed each other before he got the touch. So again, Marini's pushing forward, and he's gonna just go straight. And Lafort tried to do a parry last time, it didn't work. But this time, he's interrupting Marini or baiting Marini much more with his feet. So he's much more active on his feet, thereby trying to choose the moment that Marini does his lunge. This time, they both attack in the middle. For me, Lafort is actually... Wow, you know what? From that angle, it was hard to see. Referee says it was Marini's touch. That's very possible. I mean, I'm sure it is, you know. Okay, here, Marini pushing. and basically simple attack, flick to the back, but it hits the arm. Okay, Marini is doing very nice attacks right now. He's not just waiting. And this is an attack off the line, very direct attack off the line by Marini. This makes it. I mean, he's just hitting with direct attack. Like, it's very impressive. It's because he's so tall. But that's the thing is, advantages and disadvantages, and he's hitting these direct attacks. It's very impressive. And LaFour is very tall as well. So it's just a really interesting bout watching these guys. But Marini definitely has the upper hand right now. He stepped in there and got the parry repost as LaFour was trying to hit a compound attack. I think ooh, interesting. So LaFour attacks. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Okay, so this is kind of the same thing in reverse, which tells me, okay, look, LaFour attacks. Marini parries. He even goes back and waits with the repost. LaFour then renews his attack, and Marini finishes. So Marini basically does a counter time with finish on the repost. After a very long time, going back, not going forward, everything, but he gets the light on, and so the referee gives it to Marini. But before, when Marini did the same thing to LaFour, the referee gave it to Marini. But LaFour didn't get a light on in that other time. But the situation was even more favorable to LaFour than this situation was to Marini. So that tells me that in that earlier situation, the referee, maybe he did and I misheard him. But if he didn't, he definitely just, or either way, he either did it right or not, should have said that it was the repost no from LaFour and the remise from Marini, because the remise does not have right of way and the repost does have right of way. So he may have assigned right of way sort of incorrectly according to the standard he just set in this touch previously. Sorry, that was a long explanation, but these moments are important to observe. Finally, he gets his compound action, his flesh with the arm back, and it was absolutely the right choice. But Marini is just really quick and managed to get in there really close, and LaFour's flick did not go off, even though he did get the circle 6 repost. And that was a risky action that he did, but he had to be taking risk. I mean, there just wasn't much else he could do. But that was an important leg, extremely important leg. 8-2. That's really a they made a break, so to speak. The Italians made a break with Marini versus LaFour. Saba. Wow, great control. But Maki got through with his compound attack. And okay, he managed to get the parry post. He basically parried Savin's preparation, but Savin didn't think that's the right call. Very nice. Savin tried to get a little getaway and then go. Yeah, it's counter time with finish by Sava. But I actually think Maki got the blade. So, and I think that because Sava really doesn't want to get hit there. So yeah, and Maki's happy there. So Sava got the blade. I mean Maki got the blade. So Savan was basically trying to do a counter time with finish, but ended up having to do a remise because he got parried in the middle of his prep. And beat attack from Sava, then disengage sort of to the flank area, and he just misses. Sort of flank slash outer shoulder, basically an outside high line. Seven shows a compound attack and then pushes with the counter time with finish action, and Maki steps in with a counter attack opposition in like 6. Here he's doing his own little counter time action with para repost, which Maki loves. And then he gets off target either right on that first attack or in the infighting. So, pushing. Now he's defending. Now Maki is doing sort of the little counter time action and then the beat attack, and now it's Seven's turn. And he tries to finish, and Maki just does a straight lunge, and Seven just misses. And as I keep saying, for me, that is an attack in preparation. What Seven is doing is clearly a preparation, but the referees basically always say it's a counter attack. So Seven just keeps doing it. He just keeps trying to hit the counter time with finish, and Maki's pretty much not having it. He's just stepping in early because he gets to choose. Well, that time Seven just tried a compound action, and Maki was able to parry it. Very nice attempt to get the repost. Very nice stop hit by Seven. So counterattack going backwards. Counterattack going out. Very, very nice. Ache is also what many people around the world call it. Ache. Yeah, very intense infighting. But for me, all within the realm of acceptability. Wow. Great job getting out. Oh, it's a Deary. Oh, I should have known that. Whatever. It's a Deary. I was thinking... I thought something looked weird. Oh. I unfortunately don't watch Seven and Idiri fence enough to tell them apart at first glance, obviously. But Idiri's doing... I mean, he's doing something. It's working, kind of. Is it, though? 34 to 27. That's a 7-touch difference. Yeah, it's not really working. He fended him off really well, but then he got into the infighting. And Maki just pushed his way through. I mean, honestly, very impressive stuff. Look at that. Bam. Very strong. Forced himself in there. Forced his way in there. So French versus Italian fencing is always it's kind of a meme in fencing. Always has been. They're the most famous, most sort of ancient rivalry, and in my opinion, their styles still have some differences, but basically the whole world is, yeah, everyone's just trying to do what works. So, but metaphorically, for me, the French sort of style, it's more premeditated, and attacks are started from further away with the tip leading more. And the Italians, and also using a lot of disengages and things like that to kind of thread the needle. And the Italian school has a lot more absence of blade and is fenced at a much closer distance and relies much more on a blade contact. So, yeah, and so also because of that, the French school is a little bit more premeditated in their actions. So they kind of are trying to plan a bit more what they're gonna do immediately, and uh, the Italian school is a little bit more um, what's it called? Closed eyes, or just sort of feeling, or just instinct based fencing. But again, that doesn't necessarily describe the French and Italian school sort of today. It's just kind of what they each stand for, at least for me. And you could see that in that last bout, how Marini I was not Marini, how Maki kept forcing the close distance and the infighting, and also taking the blade a lot. But Adiri was the one who was really holding the blade back. So that's what I mean. It's not like all the French guys fence that way and all the Italian guys fence that the other way. It's just that there have been certain style characteristics that have been associated with the different schools sort of over a long time, and those style characteristics kind of make sense together. Like if you're going to be starting your attack from further away, it's more likely that you're going to have a plan for what that attack is going to be, and you're going to be focused on trying to thread the needle with the tip in front of you. All those things kind of require that kind of thinking. Whereas finding the blade, you don't really know where the opponent's blade is going to be, so that's the thing you kind of have to feel. And then getting closer, there's less reaction time. There's less time to plan. So it all kind of makes sense. Get back to the bout. So Marini's pushing, straight attack. Poti parries and then does a long, very fast compound attack, and Marini manages to get the counter attack. And that's really what the defense is based on. If you see that your opponent is doing a compound attack, then your sort of first instinct should be to counterattack, or maybe step in with parry. But honestly, counterattack is really the king there in that case. And if you see that they're going straight, you should parry post. And here Poti he's trying a counter time parry repost. So he's pushing, pushing, pushing. Marini does attack in preparation, and Poti does a parry repost. But the thing is, as I keep saying, if Poti had gotten the light on, then the referee would not have said attack in preparation by Marini, and he would have said counter attack, and then thereby it would have been touch right for Poti. And yeah, anyway. Very nice. Parry Preem repost in the middle while charging forward. So it's like, yeah, it's a very strong action. Very strong action. I would class it as a fight for the middle situation with parry post. Going forward, if you want to go even one deeper. Poti actually beat Marini in the Paris Olympics. Parry post right is no. Remise left touch. Still a 7 touch difference. Very tough. There's not a lot of target area there. Not a lot you can hit. I think with Marini you have to work your way in close, which is what Putti actually does in the Olympics a year later. Okay, Lafort versus Garozzo. 2019 world champion versus 2016 Olympic gold medalist. Very nice compound attack by Lafort. Garozzo searches for the parry. Doesn't get it. Yeah, he goes in around the 4 and hits in the flank. It's very effective. Now Garozzo's doing his little counter time type action. And Lafort has desensitized Garozzo to his little forward movements. And he maybe, to me, I agree with the referee. Absolutely. But why is it? Okay, he's either giving it as an attack for Lafort and basically an attack in preparation for Lafort. Or he's giving it as like a repost because Lafort maybe got the blade action previously. One of the two. And they're compound attack by Lafort. Excellent stuff. He basically did a compound attack in preparation against Garozzo's counter time with parry repost. So he was counter timing a little bit now. Now it was Lafort's turn to sort of do that. He pushed forward. Garozzo stepped in with the parry. Lafort sort of searched, thinking there was going to be a counterattack, and both of their blades missed each other, and then Lafort hit off target. I think they may have doinked into each other, and that's why Cerioni is angry. Parry post Lafort. Off target. Man, Lafort's hitting a lot of off targets. That's rough because you're spending a lot of energy. And so off targets, it's really not good. But there's not much you can do about it. And it's better than getting hit, that's for sure. But it's not good. Very nice. This, for me, is also attack in preparation because Garozzo is just waiting there. But again, if Garozzo would have gotten a light on here, it's extremely likely the referee would have given it to Garozzo. But Garozzo even goes for the parry repost. So he did a counter time with parry repost. He got warned for something. Maybe he's taking too long to get in on guard. See how he keeps moving back and forth in these little steps? Maybe that's what it is. I've seen him get in trouble for that before. Only 3 touches apart now. Lafort is really making stuff happen here. To me, it kind of looked. To me, it looked like Garozzo's parry repost off target. Yeah, why is that not parry repost? Oh, well, maybe he didn't get the parry. Maybe he just parried like the strip. Or maybe the referee doesn't think his parry was significant enough. But in that kind of situation, you should give the parry if he touches the blade basically at all. Because Lafort is standing there also with his blade way, 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 way back. So if you reach out and hit his blade, That's how you have to get the right of way back.
On garde.
It looks like they changed. Yeah, it looks like they changed it. Good.
Allez.
Now Lafort is attacking more, so he's gonna finish earlier. And now it's Lafort's turn. And Lafort was moving forward with his counter time slash, yeah, it was just a counter time. He was just, he was preparing with his preparation, and Grotzo steps in with a parry.
On garde, s'il vous plaît.
And Lafort's idea, the reason I call it a counter time is because his idea is to go forward and then finish when Grotzo tries a counterattack or something like that. And parry post right is off target, absolutely. Grotzo tries attacking straight. Lafort, yeah, reacts with an effective parry post, but hits off target. So again, off target. Lafort's hitting a lot of off targets. But it is what it is. I mean, he's trying his best to hit on target. So wanting to hit on target more and more, what does that do for you? So again, Lafort is counter time with finish. He's reacting to honestly, on that one I'd have to see it again. It was right on the line, okay? It was very, very close to compound attack. If it was counter time, and if it was a compound attack, it was very close to being a counter time. What I mean by that is that moment where they accelerated was very, very, very close to each other. So the idea here is to see who reacted to who. If Garotso reacted with his counterattack to Lafort's acceleration, then it's generally going to be an attack for Lafort. If Lafort reacted to Garotso's counterattack, then it's, in my opinion, a counter time with finish by Lafort. He's catching up. Very nice remise by Lafort. So it was a fight for the middle. They both marched forward. Lafort signalized compound attack. Garotso attacked straight. Lafort parried. He reposted. Garotso counter parried. And Lafort remised. Very strong. Very strong. I think Lafort was a little bit more ready to be fencing at that long distance. Long distance in the sense that every touch that was going to happen there was going to be at the maximum sort of extent of the blade and the arm. And obviously Lafort's got the advantage in that situation. And since Garotso was fully in his lunge before doing his counter parry, he wasn't able to sort of push closer again. He was sort of stuck in that spot, and Lafort was able to just remise, basically knowing that he wasn't going to get hit on the repost. And yeah, that was a pretty good sort of compound beat attack by Garotso, but hit off target. And Lafort tried a counterattack, which makes absolute sense. This is interesting. So Lafort goes very, very quickly, but it is very compound, and he does finish with his arm way back, but so does Garotso. But Garotso does sort of recognize it. Yeah, you can see Lafort has his arm way back, but Lafort does just start more fluently. Garotso starts way after Lafort, and he doesn't get his arm. It's not like he gets his arm out all the way. He just barely sort of twitches his arm out a little bit more. I think that should be Lafort's. He's taking the risk there. He's committing first. Garotso is reacting to him. Garotso's not trying to defend himself. I think that should be Lafort's. So the referee decided there to, I think, just really look at the arm, and just see that Lafort, as he's charging forward, has his arm way back, and he sees that Garotso sees that he's going to try to go straight. So I think that's got to be the reasoning behind it. Because he definitely didn't start the forward motion first. Very nice parry post by Garotso. His parry repost forward is so impressive and effective against against compound attacks. And honestly, if you're not, so I actually very much like that touch as well. I do it as well, and uh, my students, many of them do it instinctively. And I find that if you're not having success with it, it's most likely because you're having trouble with the infighting aspect of it. So, but it's a great action, and I think it's a very accessible action. I think it's an action pretty much anybody can do and benefit from. It's the step forward with the parry when your opponent uh, is compounding their action. It even works well against counter time, but against counter time, you have to be way more aggressive going forward. You have to take like 2 or maybe even 3 steps going forward to really, really get in there and anticipate their tip. Parry post Garotso. Yeah, and LaFour is doing basically counter time with finish, and Garotso just keeps getting that parry repost. So I think LaFour needs to finish much more direct, much straighter, much more conservative, and then basically do the counter parry repost from there. But he's just going harder and stronger and faster and trying to beat his way through more effectively. And the problem with that is that if Garotso steps in and gets the parry, which he's been able to do a million times, he's getting the touch. You know, some people will say, "Oh, he's shorter, so that's automatically going to make him better at the infighting." But in my opinion, that's not true because the taller person can get better angles with their foil, and the angles are extremely important. So the truth is just that Garotso is, or yeah, was when he was fencing here, just the best at infighting. He was just so good at infighting, and he's just better than LaFour at infighting at the moment, especially. And he's also stepping forward with the parry, so he has the right of way, and then he's just really good at making it happen. So it's a great tactic, and yeah, he did a very compound attack there. LaFour tried to do the counterattack, but it didn't work. I wouldn't even say it's very compound. It was actually quite simple, but with a beat attack and with the tip quite back. But it was actually as simple as it was possible to make, going at that speed, considering that LaFour did the counterattack. Yeah, so simple beat attack. Very nice. Very, very nice stuff. But I understand why LaFour did the counterattack, even though Garotso did the simple attack, and that's just because when someone's doing a beat, that is so often a good opening to do the counterattack. So I don't blame him. He saw that beat and he just felt his chance and went for it. Made a lot of sense. Anyway, great bout, great fencing. I feel like you can learn so much from watching Italy and France fence, and any great team bouts, because you just see so many different styles also. Yeah, just great stuff. I hope you enjoyed it.